I've been rocking the stock rear bumper for quite a while. Unfortunately, there's only so far you can get with that. On today's episode, we're going to be installing some serious beef, so stay tuned till the end. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you go rock crawling in your 4Runner and you think you don't need to upgrade the rear bumper. Honestly, I have been putting this off for so long. Both sides got ripped off and I have this decently sized dent over here, but this has been one of my major limitations with this vehicle, and this is pretty much the last thing I even need to do. But the final step to this build is getting a rear bumper on. God, it's about time. But in today's video, we are finally going to be installing a rear bumper, and this is what I have here. This is the Nguyen Works bumper. If you don't know who this company is, they are based out of SoCal. I'll put a link to their company down in the description below. But they make these really badass high clearance bumpers for the 3rd gen 4Runner. They also have the 5th gen 4Runner, and they are soon to be coming out with the 4th gen 4Runner bumper. One of the reasons I went with this company is because they build one of the most high clearance bumpers on the market. There's a lot of other companies out there that make these types of bumpers, but they're big and bulky and they don't have the best departure angle. But this company has really nailed the design with how much clearance they have been able to squeeze out of this thing. So for this bumper, I decided to add the quarter panel hoops, and this company is also really forgiving in terms of customizations. So I asked them to cut the bumper down by about 2 inches. And the reason I did that is for the 37-inch tires. I didn't want those hitting those edge pieces there. Also, you'll notice I did not add a swing out option. And the reason is I kind of don't want to be carrying around 110-pound spare tire on the back of the vehicle. And I've always kind of disliked the concept of having a spare back there because I feel like it takes away from departure angle, it's heavy, and I just don't want to be carrying that around when I'm daily driving the vehicle. That's just a personal preference though, so by all means, if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. Now, of course, it would really suck if I did lose a tire out on the trail, so I'm just hoping that one day, if I ever do lose a tire, hopefully I'm with a few other Toyota buddies who have a spare with them. Installing this should actually be really easy, so I'm just gonna hop straight into that. Okay, obviously we don't want any of the stock rear bumper on here, so we're gonna quickly get that off. So according to the instructions, we want to make a mark 2 inches up on this side and 2 inches inward, and then we're going to cut straight across that line. And then on the bottom, we're just going to cut straight across. So that's simple enough, so I'm just going to grab the angle grinder and chop that bit off. Okay, so this is what it should look like after you are done cutting. I'm just gonna throw a little bit of paint on there, and then we can throw the bumper on here too. So far everything has gone pretty smoothly. At this point, all we're gonna have to do is get a buddy, have them help you lift this up, and we're gonna stick that onto the vehicle and bolt it into place. Oh shoot, I forgot something, no wonder you talked about that. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is you're gonna need to take off the exhaust hanger because this is getting in the way, I found out. Okay, so you might want to use a pry bar to get that off. It was a little bit difficult, but it only took like a minute to get it off. And the reason we have to take that off is because this little support on the bumper is going to fit through this gap right here, and then we'll be able to slide it on. Okay, let's go. Okay, so once you get the bumper in place, there are 4 bolts on the bottom, so there's 2 on each side. Unfortunately, I didn't have these because I had taken off my tow hitch receiver a long time ago, so I just went to the store. These are M12s, and I believe the thread pitch is 1.25 if you need to get some for yourself. Okay, I just put those bottom bolts in, and oh my god, this thing fits perfectly with the body. And I had them cut it back by 2 inches, and that fits perfectly with the amount that I had cut before. I'm just gonna do a quick ground clearance check to the rear. That is 34 inches to the bottom of this bumper. That is crazy. I'm gonna finish installing this, but then I'll give you guys a better look at it. So the next thing we have to do with installing is we need to drill a hole here to install a bolt from the top. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 1/2-inch drill bit to mark a pilot hole. Then we're going to take a 1/4-inch drill bit to drill the hole out. And then we're gonna go back to the 1/2-inch drill bit, drill it all the way through. And that is basically the final step to this. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I'm just going to start a pilot hole. I'm not gonna drill it all the way through. I'm taking the 1/2-inch drill bit and just starting the top of the hole. Okay, so this is the pilot hole I was talking about, and this is just going to keep the 1/4-inch drill bit that we're going to use in place when we start using that. Now we have the 1/4-inch drill bit, and then we're just going to start drilling all the way through with this one. So once you've drilled all the way through, then we're gonna go back to the 1/2-inch drill bit and then drill it the rest of the way through. By the way, just a warning when you're drilling these holes, be careful once you're getting towards the bottom, because on the 1/2-inch drill bit, it might want to catch. So don't apply too much pressure. As long as you're applying a really light and even pressure, you should be fine with drilling these holes. But yeah, you can leave the bumper in place and put the drill bit in there, and it should line up perfectly, as you can see with that hole. Okay, so this next part might be a little hard, but you're gonna put the bolt in through the top, and then you're probably going to need someone with tiny hands if you don't. But you have to reach in here and get this nut on the bottom, and then once you do, you can grab your wrench and stick it on the bottom and tighten it. The hardest part is just you don't want to drop that nut, because if you do, and then it's going into your frame and you're somehow going to have to fish that out. One thing to note after you tighten this bolt down is that there is going to be a little bit of a gap there. I don't know how well you guys can see that. You might want to stick some washers in there, although I don't think it's going to be the most important because it's already held on pretty securely by here, and this bolt isn't doing a ton anyways. So, but if you do tighten that down without having anything in there, then it's going to start to bend this down, and I don't think you're going to want that to happen. So either leave it as is once it's tight down to the bumper and the frame, or stick some washers in there. So it is currently a few days later. Some of these clips you're seeing were after the Haru car show. Overall, I'm really happy with this bumper, and I can't wait to put this to use. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, and hey, maybe you can make a purchase off of the website. Anyways, that's all I have for today. See you next time.